Well, first off, I want to apologize for my happy Thursday video this morning, even though it's Wednesday today. I'll explain that tomorrow for a real happy Thursday video. There was a reason for it. And I admit it's not a very good reason. And a few other things I'll get into. I'm doing this because I was just killing a little bit of time. And I subscribe to Mike's channel. Oh, you don't know who Mike is? Mopars or everything. And I caught his latest one on Anatomy of an Engine. Explaining all its components and their purpose, you know. And he did it in a way that, for most of us, was pretty simple. But for Uncle Sanford's pickle sniffers was still way the fuck above their heads. Seriously. His pickle sniffers have the IQ of a pimple on a frog's balls. And I left a comment, right, Mike? I don't know if you're going to watch this, Mike. I left a comment concerning oil, Sanford's theory on oil, that he dedicated an entire video to oil. Well, let's face it, Sanford is a big-time fucking conspiracy theorist. He openly admits it. He believes every fucking conspiracy, every whack job conspiracy that comes down the fucking road. You know, I'm actually surprised he doesn't sleep with his head wrapped in aluminum foil, because he's afraid that aliens that will come by during the night in their spaceship will tap into his thoughts and pick up all his secrets so that they can incorporate it into their spaceship to get back to their home planet in 10 fucking seconds. You know? And it's kind of funny. Sometimes I start talking about things and it reminds me of other things, and I have a little something to continue with, and I'll end up doing that on this video. He said at one time, pertaining to oil, I like that oil pan, nobody cares about them. Yeah. It reminded me of oil. Yes, this is true. I'm quite sure some of you that know me, piece of tobacco on my tongue. Could be worse. He dedicated an entire video talking about oil. How you don't need to change your oil. Right, Mr. Swinger? Paul? Kenneth Brackett? And I can go on and on naming people. I know you saw this. I think I talked about it at the time. I dedicated a video to talking about how you do need to change your fucking oil. And I was very explicit in the accurate reasoning as to why you should change your fucking oil. Well, on his video about oil, he said that due to his conspiracy-minded theories, he believes that all this started with the major oil companies that just want you to spend more money to buy more oil, and you don't need to. He called it a commie, liberal plot. You know, believe me, you know, they say if you want to start a good argument, talk about politics, religion, and sports. I've done my best to try to keep my political views out of this, and I'm not going to tell you where it stands. I'm only telling you what he said, okay? And he called it a commie liberal plot by major oil companies to get you to keep buying more oil that you do not need to buy, because you do not need to change your oil. Oil does not break down. Oil does not lose its viscosity due to thermal heat and friction. Oil only gets dirty. He said that. He said that. In fact, he backed it up with valid proof and evidence. He said, I've had, and this is what reminded me of something else that just happened recently, I was made aware of. He said, and I quote, I've had oil in my car for 10 years and haven't had to change it. He said that. I've had oil in some of my cars for 10 years and haven't changed it. Haven't had to change it. Well, you know that's actually true, because now something else came into the picture this week I was made aware of concerning this Charger that he painted. That while he's glorifying himself on how he put this satin black paint on it, you know, he's like, oh, well, you know, yeah, it's got some runs and drips and probably got more runs, drips and errors than a fucking paraplegic Little League baseball game. Yes, I had an Uncle Brian lifter. Partly that explains why I called this morning's video a Happy Thursday video that I will fully explain tomorrow. How it happened. Oh, Mike, if you don't know what Uncle Brian lifters are, I guess you weren't around back then. You'll find out tomorrow. Right, Kenny? Paul? Swing. You know what Uncle Brian lifters are, right? Mike, tomorrow you'll find out. You know the one that he had his buddy Super Ron? He called him Super Ron. I called him Super Ron Osborne. Remember that? Who's that guy Osborne there that used to have that TV show, that Daredevil? He had dummies on bikes. He crashed into walls and all kinds. The guy was a funny motherfucker. So I called him Super Ron Osborne, his body guy. That never got around to painting it. I heard he had an issue. Oh, he's busy. I wonder if he's still his buddy too. So anyway, Sanford ended up painting the car himself. I guess he's getting it ready for some event or something that's coming up. That's what he's saying. Well, let's see what happens when the time comes. Based on his track record, you can fill in the blanks, and they're very fucking easy to fill in based on his reputation of what he says he's going to do and what actually ends up happening in the end. I'm in a good fucking mood. All because, okay, Mike, give you a little sneak peek. Uncle Brian lifters. Got an ounce and a half of Uncle Brian. Whoa. You get the full details tomorrow morning. Some event that's coming up. And he's talking about how car has all kinds of bugs. Don't you hate it that when you have a car for 10 years, and this is what took me back to the oil thing, not having to change your oil because he's had oil in the car for 10 years and hasn't had to change it. I got the hiccups. Isn't that kind of funny how things come together, you know? Not my hiccups. Not having to change your oil for 10 years in a car that's been sitting for 10 fucking years. This Charger. Seriously, this is some good Uncle Brian lifter, let me tell you. Hey, Kenny, you don't know what you're missing since you gave it up. Kenny Bray, he's cool. He lives here in New England. I mean, Kenny, you know me for a long time, right? Along with Paul and Swinger. Or do you know me for what? How many fucking years now? He's talking about how now suddenly, you know, he realizes, you know, a taillight doesn't work, this doesn't work, that doesn't work. Gee, why is all these things? And he's saying it. But that's how it is. That's the process. Always this process. This process is full of fuck-ups, full of bugs and problems. You know, that's the process. Hey, Sanford, maybe that's your fucking process because you're an incompetent fool. But that's not a normal process for other fucking people to actually stay on top of cars, maintain it with routine maintenance. They drive their fucking cars routinely, so when little things come up, they fix it when it happens. They don't accumulate. You know? And you're not aware of it. So all these problems had existed because you got that car was a fucking flood damage car at auction. You didn't even know if the fucking thing ran. You know, when it had that body damage and frame damage. I already talked about that. You know? Took a Sawzall, cut the frames, jammed something in there, and took a Harbor Freight stick weld, whatever. The longer you stick around, Mike, the more you interact with people that I've been interacting with for many years. You're going to hear a lot of cool shit, a lot of funny shit, and the best part is it's a lot of true shit. You know, that guy sat there. And that thing's got a busted peg leg rear end too with one wheel pulling, like my ex-boyfriend, the Cabbage Patch Kid. Yeah, I got over him. I don't know how I'm going to get through this. You know, sometimes I even crack me up, Mike. Seriously, this is some good fucking Uncle Brian Whiffler. But anyway, seriously, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. I watched your video and I was fucking pissing myself all the way through it laughing. And all these things came rushing to mind. How you broke something down so simple that you sounded like a fucking idiot. And even that's above the fucking level of the mentality of the brains of Sanford's fucking pickle sniffers. Do you know why? Oh, you're kind of new to the pickle sniffer thing, huh? Hey, Kenny, Swinger, Paul, fill Mike in on why I call them pickle sniffers. Oh, and Dave at DRC Racing. Dave fucking, every time I say pickle sniffers, yes, he has to go change his fucking underwear. He fucking pisses himself laughing and fucking Will too. And but anyway, damn, I'm gonna really struggle. I was not intending on having to struggle through this video. I was not intending on having to take this fucking long, but here it is. Fucking thing was been parked for 10 fucking years. That's why he hasn't had to change fucking oil in it for 10 fucking years. Because he hasn't driven a fucking thing in 10 fucking years. He did take it out one time. One time he took it out, and that's when you could see he was doing his one-wheel burnout, you know. Then he took it out a second time when he was moving it from his house to his shop. And he stopped once again, did a one-wheel burnout, you know. Hey, that throws his fucking groupies, you know. It don't take much for Sanford to throw his groupies. Sanford could chew some fucking gum and blow a fucking bubble, and they'd be fucking amazed. It was like the next coming of fucking Jesus Christ in their eyes. Sanford blew a bubble. Is he fucking cool or what? I wish I could blow a bubble like Sanford. He's the man. I'm cracking me up. I can't help it. Seriously. I should never have done this, but I can't help it. I'm fucking too deep into this, so now I gotta go through with it and try my best to finish it. He took it out one day. Some guy went by with a fucking Charger, you know, the new 4-door ones. This was a few years back, so it wasn't, you know, the super badass, you know, Hellcat Chargers they got today, but it was a Hemi. And they went out on the road and they fucking raced. That Charger smoked his fucking ass like you would not believe. I think he did his one-wheel burnout. You know. Car's been sitting for fucking 10 years. You don't drive it. Well, he drove it about maybe an 1/8 mile and back, so say 1/4 mile on that one street race that he got blown away by a fucking stock factory Hemi Charger. And the distance from his house to his shop, I'm not sure of that distance. I know at one time he said he was thinking about getting another shop. It was too far to travel from his house. I'll give him 20 miles. So 20 miles there, another 1/4 mile. The car's been driven 20 and 1/4 miles in the last fucking 10 years since he picked it up at an auction from being a flood damaged car. I think it was Katrina or some shit like that. Right? Right, Kenny? Right, Swinger? Right, Paul? Wasn't it? Katrina car? So he hasn't had to change the oil in 10 years. Gee, I wonder why. But now he's been getting it ready and whatnot. Like I said, first he said it was going to be going to a power tour. His buddy from Canada was going to be coming down, D&D shop, whatever. But I hear he don't fucking want to bother with Sanford either. Like, this guy's going to come all the way down from fucking Canada to take that in a power tour, thinking to himself, man, the way Sanford's cars are, how many times that fucking thing going to break down on the road on me? You know what I'm saying? Anyway. Seriously, I'm fucking killing me here. I crack me up. Seriously, Mike, this is some good shit, man. Okay. I can't stop. And now he's getting it ready, and this don't work, that don't work. Oh, man. All of a sudden now, all these things are happening. None of these things happened over the last 10 years. Now why are they all happening all of a sudden? Because that car's been a fucking piece of shit junk from day fucking one since the time it was pulled out of a fucking pond in Hurricane Katrina. Of course that thing was all fucked up. You even said a while back, last year, the year before? Last year. None of the gauges work. Cars got all kinds of electrical problems. Everything was shorted out. Fucking water flood damage getting into electronics and wiring and gauges. That's not good. Maybe you should have talked about that, Mike, on your video. About how, when you talked about, plugs. You know what I mean? And maybe you should have got into, like, distributor, wires, cap, rotor, electronic ignition, if you have that, if I... And stress the importance of how you don't want to get that shit soaked with fucking water. You know what I mean? You were just talking about the engine. Next time you talk about cars, stress the importance of how you don't want to cause submerging water in a fucking hurricane for a long time and buy it and they're not expect to have fucking electrical problems. You know what I'm saying, Mike? I'm just trying to help you out here. Help give you some fucking content for the future. Maybe you can help educate Sanford's pickle sniffers, because he sure as hell is never going to fucking educate them in any fucking useful way. I got all these problems, and all of a sudden, but this is part of the process. Part of the process when you get a piece of shit junk that's sitting there for 10 fucking years that was pulled out of a swamp. You know what I'm saying? Fucking hysterical. Fucking hysterical. Anyway. I saw your video, Mike. I thought it was fucking great. I thought it was great. Especially the way you took something that really is pretty simple. At its crux, what you were saying was the absolute truth in the most simplistic way. Oh, and by the way, when you talked about, I'll get into that, the two guys' garage thing. Some things have come my way. Maybe one day this week I'll get into that. I kind of know who they were from a while back. Maybe one of these days I'll talk about that. But anyway, you talked about something that was so fucking simplistic. And part of the reason I was laughing is that even at its basic simplicity, it's still fucking too complicated and complex for Uncle Sanford's pickle sniffers that they could never fucking understand. Unless he did a video like yours telling them how you don't need to change your oil. How your spark plugs, you don't really need new ones. If you got old ones, just clean them up, You don't need a nice brand new carburetor. You get an old one you pulled out of a fucking trash bin from a garage that's working on cars and it's no good. But he'll teach him how to make it work like a brand new fucking Dominator or Edelbrock or, even a Rochester. You know what I mean? He will find a way to overcomplicate the simplest things that you were able to lay out in very simplistic terms. And what's kind of funny is that his pickle sniffers will understand all this fucking outrageous, overcomplicated bullshit. And what you said went right over their fucking heads. See you tomorrow morning.